hari mga right here on KUAM AM. Hagat niya Guam Biba Isla 63. Guahu si JC. Hello.
洪亮带有磁性的声音，以查莫洛语和听众问好。这位戴着耳机投入工作，他是查莫洛广播电台Isla 63的 DJ Kin。在这大约6坪的小小空间，就是 Kin 和听众分享查莫洛音乐的天地。
World Wide Web Queen of Chamorro Music, Flora Bazaquan. Enjoy.
走进这间位在关岛北部Harmon的查莫洛广播电台，里头有2间主要的广播电台，Isla 63跟 I94的录音室。这2个电台和听众在互动的过程中，有95%以上都以查莫洛语为主，24小时播放政治新闻、脱口秀、谈话性节目和音乐。
A lot of times when someone's trying to learn a language, one of the ways that they teach it is through music. So when we play Chamorro music, for example, if a young person's listening and they know a couple words of the song in Chamorro, they might want to call up or maybe have a relative say, hey, what does that mean? And then the relative will translate it for them. So although we don't teach the language here on the station, music and entertainment, which we definitely have here in Chamorro, the Chamorro language is a good way for people to learn and to get excited about wanting to learn Chamorro. We didn't clean in here. My boss is going to get mad.
他是 Chris， 已经有15年的广播经验，同时他也是另外一个电台 I94的 DJ。
Oik! Malfunction here, Guam's #1 station 94, and what it do this weekend? Guam's best kept secret.
虽然广播电台没有像关岛电视台一样特别开设查莫洛族语教学的节目时段，但透过 DJ 主持的功力和听众的线上互动，也能达到教学的目的。
The old lady is very Chamorro culture na di kultura,
and then I play the old lady, and then I make her talk to me. And so I try and point out the difference between the younger people and the older people by doing that. So the old lady would be like, you know, boy, you don't know how to speak Chamorro. And then I'll be like, oh, no, Tenshai, can you teach me? And she'll say, okay, boy, doggin. And doggin means butt. And so I try and make it funny for people to find out more about Guam.
一人分饰两角是 Chris 在节目中很常运用的方式。其实这2个广播电台是由一个更大的民间企业 KUAM 来经营，所有的经费都来自广告的收入。而这个体系下，除了有2个广播电台之外，还有2家关岛电视台，也是关岛最大的电视台。电台和电视台彼此的资讯会互相交换，也是岛上居民每天吸收重要资讯的主要媒介。
Traditionally, our DJs and our on-air personalities, they don't need to have a news background. But in the morning when we have the Chamorro language political talk show, it's hosted by a former Guam Senator, Jess Lujan. And just from his stint in politics, he knows a lot about current events. And I think that here on Guam, because we're a smaller community, a lot of people are more in tune with the news because we have the #1 news team. And they're more in tune with what's happening on Guam. So although our DJs aren't trained per se, they do know what's going on.
广播电台中最年轻的 DJ 只有20岁。Chris 也说，这个广播电台成立最主要的目的，就是要让查莫洛族人的声音可以传递出去。他们也相信，透过广播可以吸引年轻人回来学习自己的文化。就像Isla 63的 DJ Kin， 今年已经63岁，在投入广播行业之前是从事房地产的业务，退休后因着一身音乐才华进入广播事业。他也曾经是Isla 63的听众，他说这个电台给当地的居民有很大的影响力。
People my age, stuff like this, big influence from KUAM in itself. Because during those days, 50s, 60s, and maybe even the early 70s, before other radio stations came to the island, KUM, that's the only station that you would listen to. So it inspired a lot of young people at that time to, hey, let me try and learn how to play the guitar or the piano or learn how to sing, because the influence that KUM gave, so it carries on. And even up to this point, a lot of people that have new music, they will come in here and say, hey, can you play my music and stuff like this. So it's very influential, the station.
伊斯兰六山最早在1950年代就成立，这个电台不只融入他们的日常生活，也希望透过这样的影响力，恢复过去遭受到殖民后产生的文化和语言的断层，像是禁止说族语，这也是 Chris 或 Kin 投入广播事业的初衷。
A lot of like my mother and possibly even Kin, they were punished by the federal government for speaking Chamorro.
Young people at that time would be more, they weren't really well versed in English. So when they go to school and they're being taught English, they won't speak their language to try and comprehend this thing. And then that's when the teacher or whatever will say, do not speak Chamorro. You are not here to speak Chamorro. You are here to learn this new language because these are our liberators. So at that particular time, though, the Americans, the U.S. government, were like really pounding, no, you guys are Americans, so learn this language. But that's just, as you would call it, maybe baby steps as to how we develop into this.
历经不同政权的殖民，包括第二次世界大战、太平洋战争中，1944年的7月21号，美国政府认为这是解放了岛上的居民，但对于有些查莫洛族人来说，他们并不这么认为。面对外来文化的侵袭，查莫洛人希望能够继续保有属于自己的文化主体。
Throughout the years, because KUM has been in existence for 60 years, it played a big part in going to that language thing and making their own people try and understand and revamp the language, as you were. So there's a renaissance, if you will, in which KUM played a very, very important part because they were saying Chamorro language over the airwaves.
This is a testimony, this radio station and the language and the culture and the music on Guam. It shows that we're survivors, you know, and I mean, many, the Japanese, the Spanish, you know, the Germans and the Americans have tried to, I don't want to say take over Guam, in some cases, yeah, but they've tried to make our culture become their culture. And, you know, we've survived all these years. Just a little tiny island in the middle of the ocean, but somehow we managed to keep our culture and our language strong.
记者党宝浩在关岛的Harmon采访报道。